Welcome back to the Bookend Hotel. This is our second little update. Hopefully you watched the last one. Wow, this space is very different. Now granted, I have you guys at an angle where you're not seeing everything right now, but we are standing in our largest suite of the Bookend Hotel. This is our 2-room, how would you describe it?
It's a Shakespeare.
Oh, this is the Shakespeare room.
Yes.
So we have named every room after a classical author.
So this is an important one.
This particular room is our kind of feature room of the entire hotel. It's got 2 king-size beds in their own individual bedrooms. We are standing in the living room of this space. It is going to feature a mini bar, which is not here yet. We're designing. We are maintaining the original bookcases in their original location. So these were 1938 bookcases from when the library was built. So tell us, why was this room important, Lauren? Why did we need to do this? We could have had 2 rooms in this space.
So it all came down to functionality. Basically, you wouldn't have been able to get into this room that's over here if we didn't do it like this, but I'm gonna say that we did this because we know that you all would love it and would want to stay in here. Not only that, it is going to be a really cool suite. There will also be a leather pull-out couch. So if somebody wanted to sleep 6 in this suite, they can. So for those really cool events that Stillwater has, you'll be able to do that in this room.
I think this will be the premier accommodation in all of Stillwater. I'm gonna bank on that. You can take that to the bank.
Hopefully.
We got some really cool carpet.
Yes.
So we love blue. You really love blue. There's some colors that we knew we wanted to have that were very classical, very old world, very fitting for this type of building. And the navy blue was one of them. We had mustard yellow was on, and I know mustard kind of freaks people out, but it is a very classical color. We had like an oxblood deep maroon, and then we had like a forest green that were like the 4 colors that were like, okay, how can we incorporate these very beautiful old world colors that are not like super preppy, super saturated, super vibrant, but everything would feel like it was period correct to the building. And so that's what informed our decision making. And so we really loved this chevron pattern carpet. And so this is gonna run throughout our guest rooms. We got all of our furniture from Restoration Hardware for the most part. And so I think this is the sample for the armoires and the headboard for the beds.
Yeah, so this is kind of a really neat, the reason I chose this finish is because this one you're gonna get a little bit of distress in it. I thought with an old library, you're definitely gonna wanna put something like this in with your new furniture because you don't want it to feel brand new, you want it to feel like it's been here a while.
And we are refinishing the shutters in here, so there's gonna be a lot of wood tones. We're bringing in the leather, we're bringing in the blue. We're still trying to contemplate on the colors for these rooms. We mentioned green earlier. I think some of our doors are gonna be a green color. Speaking of green, you can see our big windows. We look forward to showing you guys. We've repainted these window frames green. And something that we found out was that the original window frames, when they originally built the building, just so happened to be green. We pressure washed the building, and as the guys were pressure washing it, they started to chip off some of the old pale yellow paint that was on the window frames, and lo and behold, they were green after we'd already picked the color. So that was kind of a cool moment.
But it's actually pretty close to the original green that was on the windows, which is super neat. And I love that we're like bringing that back. Leighton actually chose this color for the windows, so if you love it, give him a high five.
We're keeping the history here. We've worked really hard to keep as many of those things. Like obviously the bookcases, we're keeping the old frames. We've repaired the plaster dental work wherever we could. So we've done as much as we can to keep the original character. I know through pictures this library kind of changed over the years. It picked up some mid-century modern along the way, which isn't really true to the original nature of the building. We've gone all the way back, and so we've tried to keep that all the way through. What other types of rooms do we have on this floor? Because this has been chopped up from what it originally was.
The first floor is probably my favorite floor because it's gonna have the suites, the 16-foot tall ceilings, bigger chandeliers. When you walk into these rooms, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah. They didn't build a lot of these buildings to all have tall ceilings. Like they used the tall ceilings sparingly, and we did a very good job capitalizing on keeping them wherever we could. It's in the lobby, it's in the 5 rooms that we have up here on the south side of the building. And so these rooms are gonna feel very dramatic. Not that we are, downgrading the other rooms in the building, but these just have a wildly different feel. And again, I'm gonna bank on these 5 rooms are gonna be the best 5 rooms to stay in the entire city.
We do have some taller ceilings in the basement too, though. I would say, I think those are gonna feel super special and unique as well.
Yeah, we'll have at least 9-foot finished ceilings throughout the basement, which for a basement is crazy. You wouldn't have ever expected that. They're actually gonna have higher ceilings than the second floor. All right, well, let's go look at another room. I wanted to take a minute to interrupt our regularly scheduled programming to let you know we have an email list for anybody who's interested at learning more about the Bookend Hotel. It'll be linked in the first comment below, and we share updates where we're at, when bookings will be available. Those people who sign up will be the first to know. So if you want to stay more in touch and get more details than just in these videos, consider signing up. That's all. So we're back in the lobby. I filmed a little Instagram reel the other day. We were taking delivery of our elevator equipment, which you can see. It's amazing how like one little box that goes in a kind of a tall little shaft, it takes up this entire lobby. I mean, it's behind the camera, it's in front of the camera, it's behind us, and so it's everywhere. It's not a whole lot of room to film in here, but you can see we've got our elevator shaft ready to go. Construction is going on all the time, nearly 7 days a week. We are making progress. When we were last in this room, we were standing over here to the right. There was no wall. It was just a bookcase that was behind us, kind of representing this is where this wall is going to be. And now all of the walls in this entire place are framed. Most of them are drywalled. This floor has really changed dramatically. You just saw our 2-room suite. This is the Shakespeare room. We've got big plans for this lobby, and they are very different from what we originally planned when we came into this building. I will say, like, upstairs, almost identical to what we had originally planned. The first floor has gone through so many changes, specifically in the lobby, mostly because of this monstrosity. And so here we are. We've got a totally different look than we planned. But what did we get to salvage? What are we gonna do in here?
So right here, we're gonna have our elevator. Back tucked into this little corner is going to be the front desk, and up above here we're going to have a really cool big chandelier, leather tufted sofas, bookcases, everywhere we can fit them and make them work. We're going to have a little gift shop back in that corner, and let's go ahead and turn you around. So I'm not sure if it was our last episode, but I kind of was talking about we're going to have a breakfast bar here. The banquet will be about here. And I was like, oh no, that's not right. Or I'm sorry. Actually, no, it is right. Here, so I don't know if I had kind of some intuition of what was going on, but this long wall right here, we are going to have our banquettes on, and then the back wall, we're gonna have our breakfast bar. And the reason that happened is because we actually uncovered a second staircase that we're going to be utilizing for the hotel.
Right after Christmas, we discovered a hidden staircase. And it was lucky that we uncovered it because we ended up needing it for egress. So yeah, it worked out in our favor. But it was kind of a cool find because it was buried in a wall. I think I may have mentioned before, maybe not, we found a newspaper inside of it. We found a newspaper, and funny enough, it was dated the same day that we opened up the wall. So the day that we uncovered it, it was dated December 30th. And one of the superintendents that was on this job, also crazy, it was his birthday. So that was kind of crazy. So yeah, we're gonna have banquet seating. Just with the old construction and having to modernize it and bringing in all of these new mechanicals, so fire sprinklers, plumbing, HVAC, has been quite a challenge. Unfortunately, it has dipped into some of our headroom in some of these areas, but all of it's required. And so that's one of the challenges of modernizing a building built in 1938. You get to deal with all of these challenges. And so I think that for the most part, our vision has worked out. Things have gone in where they needed to go. We've made everything fit, but it has been a challenge along the way, which is a lot of what we've dealt with the last few months, really, is trying to figure out what do we got to do to make all these things fit in this building and not lose design that you've been going for this entire time. I think we're probably going to have to call this wraps on this episode, but we've got more planned. We look forward to showing you the upstairs, because the second floor is sheetrocked, is textured, and they're going to start painting it tomorrow, which is very different than this floor. So it's been a challenge because we're working our way down. So you'll have to stay tuned for that episode. You'll get to actually see some finishes. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.